Okay, let's take you back to the Northwest, where authorities there, education authorities, are expected to engage unhappy learners and parents of Tirelong Secondary School in Kroondal near Rustenburg. Learners do not want to relocate to 3 other schools after theirs was vandalized. To give us a sense of the negotiations, we're joined by Northwest Education MEC Mmaphefo Matsemela. A very good morning to you, MEC. Thank you so much for your time. The community has rejected government's plans to relocate learners to other schools. How far are you in your discussions? Because the community is clearly unhappy.
Good morning to you too, Kathy, and all the viewers. I want to start from somewhere. I think we all understand that there's a South African Schools Act which says all learners should have access to our schools. Number 2, there is a constitution which clearly says education is a right. Therefore, under these circumstances, the Department of Education doesn't work with the communities, but we work with parents, because learners belong to their parents. And maybe something that I will further clarify is the fact that on Monday, if not last week, we have established a task team, the task team that will deal necessarily with the relocation of all these learners who have been affected by something that has never been created by the Department of Education, but by criminal elements that are quite rife in that community. So we have sat down with the stakeholder relevant, number 1, the SGB, and we have agreed there is a decision that a task team will be set up, and the task team that will deal solely with the relocation of those learners from all those 3 identified schools. For instance, your Newzroom Secondary School, Mmaphefo Secondary School, and also Boons Secondary School. So the decision is there, Kathy.
Just a reminder, MEC, you are speaking to Mmaphefo, but you speak about the task team and listening to some of the engagement with the parents outside of the school yesterday as they blockaded the road. They spoke about not being aware of the task team, not knowing who essentially it will benefit and what the focus will be. What efforts are you making to convey the messages very clearly? Because there's also confusion about who signed up for the other additional schools and who hasn't. Some parents are saying that they don't want their children to be moved, while there's also conversations about other parents who've apparently signed a list. Can you give us some clarity?
I will further overemphasize a fact here that we'll continue to work with parents directly, not any other person who doesn't have a child in that school. And presently, about plus minus 140 parents have signed for their 74 grade 12 learners. As I speak, those grade 12 learners have slept at the boarding school that has been identified by the task team. And today we are dealing with parents of the grade 8s and the grade 9s. And we are working at a hub which I will not actually disclose in this interview. And the officials of the department are working quite well, swiftly, for the relocation of these learners to the mega farm school that has been identified. And parents are there as I speak right now. And tomorrow, as the MEC of the Department of Education, I am visiting all these learners who are already in these boarding schools. This will include these ones, the grade 8s and 9s, and also the grade 12s. So I am not dealing with the communities. Maybe if I can be understood from that angle, you cannot deal with a matter of a learner through a community. We speak to parents directly.
MEC, just if you'll allow me to interrupt you. We, as Newzroom Afrika, have been speaking to parents. Some parents are unhappy. We cannot ignore the fact that there are parents who are unhappy about this relocation, who've expressed serious concerns. They worry that should they send their children to boarding schools, who will supervise them? Will they be safe? Will they be monitored? So that is a factor. There are parents who are genuinely concerned concerned. And these parents are not just ordinary community members. They have children who go to the school, and they have raised these concerns that need to be addressed.
I may not argue that point at this stage. However, I may continue to overemphasize that education is a right, and I'm a custodian to see to it that the protection of that right is unfolding properly in the Northwest Province, that all our learners who are supposed to be in our schools must be there, must be taught at the right moment. So I cannot honestly for now speak for who is raising whatever at whatever corner or in whatever meeting. But I have seen a number of parents honestly coming before the department and saying to us, we are eager to work with the Department of Education, and please take our children to all those identified mega boarding schools.
Okay, MEC. You are set to have a meeting to engage unhappy learners and parents today at the school, but you're telling me that you're not really interested in clarifying that there are concerns that have been raised by some parents, although you say that some parents are happy with the process and the process is unfolding. But there is a number of parents who are unhappy, and those parents have blocked roads, and they've really had their learners, some learners have been scattered across the streets outside the school, saying that they don't want to be moved. That is a serious concern that you will address today. What are you going to say to those parents?
No. I've never said I will be addressing that today. I am saying what is happening right now. We are relocating learners accordingly with the consent of the parents. And the parents are at a hub of relocation right now. And if indeed there are some parents who are not as yet been happy to this far, I believe that as and when time goes on, all the parents will understand that I am protecting a right, and a right to learn at the end. And I may not speak on their behalf because I am not at that area for now to witness who's talking and who is not talking. But what makes me much more happier is the fact that a number of parents are working with us right now for the relocation of their children.
Okay, let's leave it there for now. Thank you for your time. Northwest Education MEC Mmaphefo Matsemela there. Your take, that's how we leave that conversation. Of course, it's a developing story that we will continue to monitor.